Let's move along and say hello to a man who made history of his own kind not that long ago, a little over a week ago, 10 or so days ago in Philadelphia. What a scene it was when it was David versus Goliath in the main event of the NCAA Wrestling Championships. It was Gable Steveson, the Olympic gold medalist, the multiple-time national champion, the Big Ten champion, the WWE hopeful, the Buffalo Bill hopeful. I mean, it doesn't get more Goliath than him. He comes back to school thinking he's just going to waltz through things, and he had up until he met Wyatt Hendrickson of Oklahoma State. Last week we had his coach David Taylor on. Now we get the man himself. The champ is here. Let us say hello to Wyatt Hendrickson, who is kind enough to join us on this Wednesday. Hello, Wyatt. Wow, you shaved the stash. What happened?
I did. So it was actually a funny story on how the mustache even came to be. So I actually grew it out just a little bit because I finally commissioned as an officer in the Air Force, and I could have that mustache. And I was getting ready to shave it, but before I even told my family about it, everyone was like, "Dude, you got two caterpillars, fighting over a nugget on your face." And so I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna keep it, and I kept it even longer. And as soon as I wrestled my first match with it, I was like, probably gonna shave it. And everyone's like, dude, you cannot shave it now. Like the season started, it's bad luck. So I kept it the remainder of the season, and it actually kind of became kind of a cool thing. People kind of like the mustache. So I've always been like a clean shaven guy, but for the few more tournaments, we might see if I'll grow it back out again.
It gives you a whole different look now. Like the stash, I felt like it gave you a bit of an edge. Like you kind of look like Tom Selleck, circa 1983, and now you're a baby face. You look like such a young man. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how to feel about it. I kind of miss the stash if I'm being honest.
Yeah, you're not wrong, but hey, Captain America never had any facial hair.
That's true. Okay, that's fair. That's
until of course, the very end of his career. But
I mean, look at that thing. That thing's a beaut. Have other people told you they missed it?
Yes, that's actually probably one of the biggest things people say. It's not, oh, congratulations. It's just like, what happened to your mustache? So
there it is.
I think you're right. It kind of was, it was a little bit of a sign of toughness or sign of, I don't know, but people loved it. So I might have to bring it back.
In the post-match press conference, when you beat Gable on that Saturday night, you said like it's going to take a few days for the emotions to really sink in. So it's been 10 days or so since it happened. Have they sunk in, or are you still on this high?
Yes, no, absolutely. I mean, the first couple days after that was just pure excitement. I mean, not that I was surprised, but after you train all year for a goal and you finally reach that goal, it's an exciting time. And so, just it was hard to go to sleep. I stayed up in my living room at 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, just watching all the awesome videos and all the cool edits because it was amazing. There's no other film until you get in a situation like that where, you finally reach that big goal. It's just your emotions are just flying everywhere, and it was an exciting time. But it's calmed down a little bit. We got back to Stillwater, got right back to training. There's a lot of stuff I still need to improve. For my future wrestling career, for me to, I obviously won a national championship, but I want to be a world champion and Olympic gold medalist. So it was really nice to kind of come back to Stillwater and get back to grinding.
Do you remember the first time you had this dream? Like how long ago does this date back when you dreamed of being a national champion?
Absolutely. I mean, as a kid, I feel like everyone has, a big goal for themselves. And for me, it was to be an Olympic gold medalist and a national champion. And, that was a long time ago. And as you get older and you keep training and training more, it kind of becomes more, it comes more in the picture. But, as soon as I actually got to college at the Air Force Academy and I had my first season, I'm like, it's real now. I've talked about it, but now it's time to put pen to paper and get to work and make this a reality. And, the last 3 years of my wrestling career, I was like, hey, I want to be at the top of that podium. And I knew I had what it took, but, every year I've just been getting better and better and better. And this year with, the help of Coach David Taylor, being able to say the right things and help me in certain positions that, it finally got me over that hump.
I love what I've read about your relationship with Coach Taylor. Correct me if I'm wrong. From the get-go, from the beginning of the year, he's texting you every so often, Wyatt Hendrickson, 2025 national champion. He's just texting you that. Nothing more, nothing less, just continuing to put that in your brain. Is that what he's doing?
The very first text he ever sent me. Obviously, we had a talk, and he was like, hey, I want you to come to Oklahoma State. And right after that, the first text he started sending me was just, Wyatt Hendrickson, 2025 national champion all the time. So, I mean, just having that, just kind of, it kind of manifested the path, and just keeping that goal in mind throughout the entire season was a big deal, because you're going to have days where you're beat up, you're hurt, your knees tweaked, but I mean, to be the national champion, you got to work through those days. And having Coach Taylor there to kind of remind me of those on those hard days made a big difference, because it kind of changed my mentality. Some days I was like, I was like, I don't know what to do. And they're like, hey, you can get stressed out, or you can adapt. You can try to adapt through it. Coach Kennedy actually he's been with me on a lot of those tough days. Like, hey, you can get frustrated, or you can adapt and you can keep wrestling. So, that happened at the NCAA tournament. People are kind of hurting, and I was still hurting, but coach is like, look, this is it. You got to go out there, and you need to be a champion. You need to have the championship mindset. You need to be tough. You need to be gritty. You need to work through this, because you have what it takes. He's like, I know. He's like, you don't have to be 100% to win this tournament. You just got to be yourself and wrestle hard every single match.
When he's texting you that from the get-go, do you believe him?
Absolutely. I mean, he's done it all. He's been a world champ, Olympic gold medalist, a multiple-time national champion, and I think a lot of people have been telling me I can be a national champion, but I think what it really took is, and I've always kind of believed in myself, but I think there was a time where my brain, I was just like, I don't just want this. Like, I need this. Like, this is something I've been wanting, and there's something that just kind of it sparked something on the inside of me. And I mean, even at every single tournament, you think of, the coaches, they're like, hey, we're going to go out here, we're going to wrestle, good, do this. Before every match, Coach Taylor would just look at me and be like, hey, buddy, smile.
Wow.
That's like, how you doing? How you doing? And so that just made a big difference. I mean, if you ever looked at any of the pictures of us before a match or before anything, we're always just smiling, because I get really serious. I got to get zoned in. I want to put on a great performance. I want to wrestle my best. But sometimes, I might get a little too serious, and coach is just like, hey, man, just, have fun out there. Have a good time. And I'm just like, it just takes all the pressure off, because I mean, if you've ever been as you know, as elite, athletes, you get zoned in, you might start overthinking, and your mind kind of takes over. You start playing scenarios. Oh, what if this happens? What if I have to do this? What if it doesn't go my way? And, sometimes my brain starts to get going. It could take off, but Coach Taylor kind of realized that might have been something that's been happening in the past. And before the match, he's like, hey, man, just go out there, have fun. And it kind of just took all that stress away before every single match.
So you're an accomplished athlete. Correct me if I'm wrong. Second lieutenant in the Air Force?
Correct. Yes, sir.
So you're used to dealing with stress, pressure, but here you are on Saturday night, NCAA championship. The spotlight's on you. The lights are shining brightest. You're going up against Goliath. You're going up against the Olympic champion. The president is in attendance. The commander-in-chief himself is in attendance. Are you feeling nervous? Are you feeling a different type? Because I don't want to ever equate what you do on the mat to what you do for the Air Force, but there's a different type of pressure involved here, and this is you on the verge of realizing a dream. What's going on internally here minutes before the match?
Absolutely. So this was actually a time where I just really got to give credit to my coaching staff and my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ for, I said it, obviously I love saying prayers before I wrestle, but I needed some help. I was getting, an hour before the match, I was getting a little bit emotionally stressed out, and I just said, Lord, please take away my doubts, take away this fear, take away all my anxiety. And I just had this sense of calmness. And I love telling people this, because that's exactly a situation where you would think that, I'm going crazy. I'm like, oh, so many people are here. But I mean, I sat next to Coach Taylor, and he's like, hey, man, it's just another match. You've been wrestling all year long, nothing different about this. And I mean, I was in on that. I believed him. So, when I was going out there before I was wrestling, I was just focused. I was zoned in. I had that tunnel vision. And, I had that until that final whistle blew. As soon as that final whistle blew, then I could hear the crowd and everything. But I like to describe that moment of me on the mat, I think a great movie to, Creed. And when they're fighting and you're in the ring and the arena's black, it's just you and your opponent. You can't hear a thing. That's the way I felt. I was so zoned in.
Wow.
And then as soon as that final whistle blew, then I could feel the intensity. I could feel it as soon as I took him down. I mean, I couldn't hear it, but you can feel the intensity in that room. And then as soon as that match was over, I was just like, oh my gosh, we freaking did it. It was just pure excitement, pure raw emotion.
I love that. You had one of the all-time greats from Oklahoma State in attendance calling it for ESPN, our good friend Daniel Cormier. Did you happen to speak to him before the match? Maybe after the match? Did he give you some advice beforehand? Any interactions with DC? Hey there, sorry to interrupt. Just want to remind you, if you haven't already, please do hit that subscribe button. We would appreciate it very much. And while you're at it, give us a thumbs up too. You know, we've got live shows, interviews, clips, and a whole lot more going on this here channel. All right, now back to the show.
Yeah, I actually saw him when we were doing the Parade of All Americans. I saw him walking out. And I jumped in front of him, tried to scare him a little bit, and just, he was just like, "Hey, man, good luck." I mean, at that point, the hay was in the barn, but I did run into him a little bit.
What a legend. And what a call. That call, I'm sure you've watched that a million times, right? Him and Jordan Burroughs going nuts.
Man. Oh, that was the best thing
Yeah.
ever. There was no better commentary than that right there. I've been telling people that and what he said, that whole moment in that video, I will never forget that. He is losing his mind. It is amazing. I rewatch it, and every single time, I'm not kidding, I still get goosebumps. I've seen that probably hundreds and hundreds of times, but it just brings that emotion and that feeling of what it was like in the moment of that match. So I'm definitely going to have that feeling with me for the rest of my life. And of course, hearing DC's voice just screaming.
What is the best thing that has happened to you since that win?
I think we've just been able to bring a lot of light to, the sport of wrestling. There's a lot of people that obviously maybe saw that match that have never watched wrestling before. I mean, obviously President Trump was there. So I think it's brought a lot of awareness, to the great sport of wrestling, and also just, the name of Jesus. That's something I'm, really proud of, is my faith. And, I think it's important that people need to know that, my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ is the reason that I won that match. And I felt the Holy Spirit on that last takedown. I mean, you talk about needing some help. I just felt an extra push and helped me just push through the end of that match. So, just growing the sport of wrestling and spreading the name of Jesus, and, honoring this great country of America. I mean, as much as I can spread my faith and all that, I'm gonna do it.
Before the match, there seemed to have been an interaction between you and Gable. Can you tell us what you guys said to each other?
That's the $1 million question. And what's crazy is I mentioned that tunnel vision. I actually don't remember. I really don't. I mean,
I don't believe you, Wyatt. I think you're being a good guy. I think you're being a gentleman and not telling us the truth.
So I mean, I'm a pretty honest guy. I like to say that, but no. So there is a couple of words. I'll share that with you. What I heard, but all I heard was I heard him say like Olympic champion, and like maybe something about deserve, don't deserve. But I mean, in the moment, I was walking around. I just shook his hand. I thought he was just coming to me to like, I didn't know how to feel, but I knew that if he was trying to do something, it was most likely to throw me off my game. But I mean, I heard him say, he was shaking his head, talking, and said Olympic champ. And I mean, what I'm guessing he said, and I'm pretty sure he did say, was like, hey, like, it's what Jordan Burroughs said. He's like, hey, like, you can't just wear that flag for anything. And, you know, you can feel any way you want to about that. As a second lieutenant representing the greatest country in the world, America. I mean, I'm not going to ever feel bad about representing,
No.
wearing that flag around my back.
If anyone deserves to have that flag around his back, it's you. And probably there was some trash talk, some mind games there. Did he say anything to you after the match?
Absolutely. Not a word.
Not a word.
Not a word.
He did post the next day on social media about it all, but I noticed there wasn't really a hat tip to you. This is the post right here. I'm not going to read the whole thing. I'm sure you've seen it as well. Did that disappoint you?
No, I actually haven't even read that yet. But I think, Gable is a very respectable person. I mean, as you know, he's been an Olympic gold medalist, and that match doesn't define him. That's not going to change anything. But I truly think that in a moment like that, he was never expecting maybe to lose that match, and after something like that, like he probably didn't know what to do. Obviously, if that happens, you're not happy about it. It does suck, because I'm sure when he came in to college again, he was just expecting to win it all. And, I had different plans from the very beginning. So, I think he already convinced himself he won that match, and he was stunned. I remember seeing all the pictures I've seen of just his face after the match and after that takedown. He's looking up like a lost puppy, like what do I do now? Because he was just so kind of shocked. But I mean, Gable's still a great wrestler. If he decides to wrestle, best luck to him. I mean, I'm still going to be grinding. I'm still training every day to be an Olympic gold medalist.
You did find out just a couple of days ago, Hodge Trophy winner as well. So you're now in that exclusive class. Man, the hits just keep on coming for you. This is incredible. How did you find out about that, and what was your reaction?
Yeah, so I knew I was obviously going to be in the runnings for it after that match. But they did give me a call, just a little bit in advance before they made the big announcement to say, "Hey, man, like you did it, congratulations!" And the obviously the biggest person I was going up against is Carter Starachi, and I mean, absolutely phenomenal wrestler. If you look at our careers, if this was a career award, I mean, hands down, I mean, it's going to be Carter Starachi, 5-time national champion. That is awesome. But I mean, I was just really grateful that the fans, they enjoyed the dominance that I put on this year. I mean, this is my fourth year. I think I'm the most dominant wrestler in the NCAA, and this award was about dominance. And I I pin a lot of people. I like to put it on them. I beat the number one pound for pound best wrestler, and Gable Steveson. So I mean, it's just an honor to have received that award, and I'm very grateful. I'm very grateful for all the fans that voted, and just getting that is going to be it's exciting. I'm kind of speechless about it. I'm still letting that sink in a little bit.
That's
That's still
incredible.
a really exciting thing.
Well deserved, well earned. So can you explain to us the next 3 years? Because you mentioned the Olympics. The next one, 28, Los Angeles. That's a goal of yours. You want to be on Team USA. You want to compete in the games. What do the next 3 years look like for you? You're still in the Air Force, right? So how does this all work right now? Because you'll be leaving.
Correct.
You're done. Or can you come back for another year? It's all very confusing now in college. Can you come back as a graduate?
So I am a graduate right now. I graduated from the Air Force Academy last year, and there's no graduate school at the Air Force Academy, which is why I left to go to a different school to use this last year of eligibility. But I actually I'm a member of the Air Force WCAP, the World Class Athlete Program, and they allowed me. I said, "Hey, can I use this extra year of eligibility?" And they said yes. So they allowed me to come here to Oklahoma State to train and to use this last year of eligibility. But my college career is now over. But the next 3 years, and like we said, I'll be trying to make a world team, the Olympic team, and just pretty much training full time. I'm going to do a couple stops around the country. I'm still going to go back to the Air Force Academy, to the Air Force Regional Training Center, give back. They got some great partners up there for me at the Olympic Training Center, great partners. But obviously, having Coach Taylor as my coach right now has made a big difference. And I'm excited to keep climbing the ladder.
When you're part of the is it WCAP and you go to Oklahoma State, you get to take classes there, or are you just training as an athlete and that's it?
No, so I'm actually a full-time student in the graduate program. Yes, I'm
Okay,
getting my MBA, my Master's of Business Administration at the same time.
good for you. Well done. And obviously the goal is to make it to LA.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. That's been, I finally, the big goal I set was to be a national champion. We fulfilled that goal. So, going back to my room, my bulletin board, now I got, yearly goals of world champ, but now the big overarching goal is going to be 2028, Olympian and Olympic gold medalist.
And then post that, there's two paths, it seems. You could go down the pro wrestling path like so many others, or the MMA path. Any chance we see you go down either one of those?
I think there's a lot of exciting stuff that could possibly happen. But so as a member of the United States, Air Force, I will actually be able to go back, and I plan on serving for at least 5 more years after my wrestling career. This country has done so much for me. I think it's only right for me to give back to, you guys. So right now, all my classmates in the Air Force Academy are kind of, they're picking up the slack because I'm obviously wrestling right now. And I'm, trying to spread the word of the great sport of wrestling, and obviously the Air Force and the great opportunities they offer. But for the immediate future, I'll be going back, and I am in the service, but I'll be going to work in a job that's not wrestling for 5 years. And then after that, the cross training is probably going to start now. And I think, the sky's the limit when it comes to deciding what I want to do after my Air Force career.
Of those two, do you have an interest in one over the other?
I love MMA. I love everything about it. But one thing that is in my mind, I love punching people in the face, but obviously getting punched in the face sucks. Getting
Yeah.
hit in the head. I do have a little bit of history with just some concussions, and there might be some caution there. But I really think I need to get some gloves on and see how it feels. Obviously it's no joke. I mean, MMA is like I said, it's no joke. And so, getting punched by someone who knows how to punch in the head and getting knocked out, it's not super fun. So as long as I can do whatever I want to do safely, I'm obviously I'm gonna do what I can.
Have you trained in any facet of MMA?
I've done a little bit. I mean, not specifically. I mean, I've had some boxing gloves and mess around with some guys, hit the punching bag, go to some jujitsu practices. But I mean, my main goal right now is wrestling, and so I'm really just putting all my effort and time into that. But I have messed around a little bit, but I haven't taken it too seriously.
Okay, that would be something. A bunch of guys obviously have come over from, Daniel Cormier being one of them, Brock Lesnar, Randy Couture, the list goes on and on. Bo Nickel, very recently, having some great success. You follow
Yep.
these guys?
I actually don't. So to be very honest with you, I've had a couple talks with the coaches even when I got here, and they say about wrestling and everything, you can be an athlete or you can be a fan of other athletes. And so, I mean, as far as even goes to social media, I have social media, but I have it all muted. I don't like being on it. I like to spend my time outside or, with friends. So because of that, I'm not big on podcasts or watching fights or anything, which
Wow.
now I know, I feel like I need to a little bit more because I'm all in all these, I get to talk
Yeah.
to so many amazing people, and I'm just like, no, I need to get with the program and see what's going on here. But no, I do like spending most of my time off social media. So because of that, I'm never on Twitter or Instagram or really any social media of any sort.
Well, you're a pure soul. You have a great exuberance, a great joie de vivre, if you will. I wouldn't change any of that. And most importantly, you're a tremendous athlete as well. So congratulations on what you accomplished 2 weeks ago. Really cool to see. The scene was amazing, and you deserve it, man. You earned it, and you represented this country in an incredible way. So good luck to you. Thank you for coming on. Great to meet you. Great to talk to you for the first time, and looking forward to seeing where you go from here.
Absolutely, I definitely think that we might see some more opportunities, like we talked about. So I definitely think it'll be exciting to see what comes next.
Thank you, Wyatt. All the best to you. Congrats.
Yes, thank you.
There he is, Wyatt Hendrickson of Oklahoma State University, Dan Hodge Trophy winner, national champion, and soon to be a member of Team USA. Love that. Great stuff there. And what a nice young man. What a pure soul he is. What a good guy. Thanks for watching this video. Before you go, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button for us. Also, give us a thumbs up, leave a nice comment. These things go a long way. And while you're here, do check out the rest of the channel. We've got live shows and full interviews, clips, and a whole lot more. We're doing big things here, and we appreciate your support very much.